All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Game 1 between Mousesports and Team SlayerS. We have got Mouse's Mana at the top left-hand corner of Tal'Darim Altar. No surprise here. It's going to be a Protoss versus Protoss because in the bottom right, we've got Puzzle from Team SlayerS.
Yes, we do, as a matter of fact, and it looks like I managed to put their names backwards there, so I'm going to go ahead and switch that, so now they're on their correct sides. Boom, there we go. So it says Mouse versus SlayerS, and that is correct now. Interesting to note, the starting map for Winners Round 2 and Losers Round 1 was Tal'Darim Altar. And in this cast, and the previous two casts, both from Winners Round, or from Losers Round 1 and Winners Round 2, every team has thrown out a Protoss player. So out of 6 possible players in the last 3 sets of matches, all 6 were Protoss players. Everyone feeling that their Protoss ringer really has a chance to take a game on this map.
Couple of interesting things to note here is Mana, of course, is our 3rd place winner from IPL Season 2. Lost to Nurchio, actually, who then proceeded to lose to Whitera. And, you know, to get 3rd place in such a skill-stacked tournament, I want to say, of that size is really, really something to, you know, to take down. And I think, you know, Mana obviously is one of the best Protoss players out there right now. He
made $6,000 off of that. And don't forget, he also did finish 2nd at the ESWC to, well, none other than Stefano, who we've talked about a couple of times in this tournament, of course. And he did actually net $12,000 for taking 2nd place there as well. So he's had a good year of StarCraft, and hopefully he's going to have a very strong showing here. But, of course, the guy he is up against...
Puzzle.
Oh, Code S Extreme.
I know, man. Finally, SlayerS is starting to throw out their top-of-the-line players. For a while there, they were throwing out Crank. They were throwing out... gosh, I can't even remember the names of the players. Golden.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are good. Don't get me wrong. They're good players. They're solid players. They would wreck anybody. They would wreck anybody in the North American ladder. But, of course, Team SlayerS has better players waiting, and they're finally starting to show their best. And this is really, really scary. I mean... gosh, I think SlayerS is going to go the distance here, man.
It's pretty awesome. You know, whoever does win this set, don't forget, has to go up against a QIM team that has shown that they're willing to throw out MVP, though. So it's needless to say, keep watching this tournament, guys, because the $6,000 first prize is going to go to some absolutely top-tier teams.
Oh, yeah. This is just going to be one of the best tournaments, I think, that we've thrown. Thus far. I think it's been a great tournament, so great success. And let's see what happens in this game. We've got Puzzle sending in his scouting probe. Mana also had a scouting probe inside his opponent's mineral line, and it looks like they were just harassing each other a little bit, but nothing too severe.
Puzzle putting up a 2nd gate right now. He's using his Chrono Boost quite liberally to get out first a Stalker and then Warp Gate technology afterwards. And Mr. Mana, on the other hand, doubling up those pylons and throwing down 2nd gate a little bit later. And both players are actually going after a pretty heavy Stalker build. Those Chrono-boosted Stalker builds have really taken precedence lately. And Puzzle bypassing 2nd gas and throwing down gateways number 3 and 4. This is going to be an extremely offensive, powerful 4-gate.
Yeah, we're not going to see too many sentries here, if any at all. Pretty much just Zealot Stalker coming out of Puzzle. And Mana is going to have that 2nd gas, I believe. So that's going to mean that he might invest into something else, maybe a robotics facility. Let's see. He has a 3rd gateway going down right now. Just 3 gates for now. So he is down in production in terms of raw gateway units, but he might be able to kind of help that out with the extra gas he's got coming in.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys, you know, as Nori showed us against Liquid Hero, it is very possible, if not even likely, that you can hold off of 4 gates with delaying Warp Gate technology a little bit and chrono boosting
Stalkers.
Extra rounds of Stalkers.
Yeah, we saw that used very smartly by Nori. I think Bishu did that as well. Just kind of chrono boosting a bunch of Stalkers out, getting those early units, because Stalkers are key, fundamental in early Protoss versus Protoss encounters.
Bishu actually had a really ridiculous 2-gate robo build that was built around like just sheer immortal Zealot, which was kind of, I don't know, I mean, that one, I see a Nori, you know, warping in those extra units to counter 4-gate and carry an economic advantage. Bishu's build was a lot crazier. It did catch his opponent off guard, but I'd be curious to see how that actually works in long term. And look at this.
I'm actually curious to see how Mana's going to hold this off, considering he just threw down his tech right now. That's a ton of Zealots and Stalkers, and Mana doesn't have much. The one thing he's got is Force Field, and the thing here is on Tal'Darim Altar, you kind of have to triple Force Field to even hold this army off.
And he does prevent the army from moving in for
But
Puzzle.
for how long?
But he didn't trap any units, and that's actually something we saw in the 4-gate versus 2-gate yesterday in Cole MVP Tails versus Quantigayam Sase. Sase was actually he had so many of his units cut off time after time. That's what let Tails hold this engagement. But Puzzle lets a few Zealots go through. That time a lot better. He traps those Zealots.
And he's not killing the Zealots. He actually should pick them off right now. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. He will get those 3 Zealots at the front. So now it's just Stalkers on Stalkers. That will heavily favor Mana because he does have those sentries for Force Field. But the pylon's out there, and it's continuing to warp in units. So Puzzle continues to make reinforcements right in front of Mana's base. Mana's still down in production. I think he just added on his own 4th gate. But, man, that Twilight Council really not helping at all.
And, oh, wow. Actually, losing those sentries up at the front, and all of a sudden... Puzzle looks like he's starting to push ahead here and do some damage. However, the worker counts, there's a big discrepancy there. Mana's bringing in a lot more money, and that's reflected itself in supplies, but still, Puzzle just continues to push on forward. Now that those Zealots are down in, the high gas sentries are falling. That is actually very bad for Mana.
Oh, Puzzle is wrecking through Mana's front door right now. Mana's going to lose his final sentry here. No, it's not even going to go down because Puzzle has other priorities. He's picking off Stalkers first, finally gets that sentry, and picks off a couple other units as well, and it looks like Puzzle has breached the front door. Imperial Stormtroopers have entered the base. Imperial Stormtroopers have entered the base.
Yes, they have, and this Zealot needs to get picked off in a hurry. Okay, unfortunately, Puzzle doesn't focus that down, and that will start to push these units back for a little bit until another warping comes in. But this is a very classic 4-gate on 4-gate tug-of-war battle we have going on here. Again, even with those probes being lost, Mana does have more on the field, but of course, 4 of them are pulled off the line, so both players are mining at the exact same rate at the moment.
Those 4 probes not really helping out in terms of economy. They're actually being utilized as warriors right now, and it looks like Puzzle goes in. He's going to combat the Stalkers on his own. He sends in a random Zealot from the back of his pylon, and it looks like he is doing some decent damage right now. He is going to be able to pick off that last Stalker. Meanwhile, his Zealot attacking the probes, but the probes kill off the Zealot.
And we're still very back and forth right now. Supplies are actually incredibly even. Only a 3-worker difference, but that means Puzzle does have a bigger supply in terms of army at the moment. And Mana was actually still bringing in off of double gas, now finally starting to move off of that, and I think that is very important to note. So we do have now a Stalker advantage for Mana, but a Zealot advantage for Puzzle.
And a probe advantage for Mana as well. Yes. So it's really close right now. It's tough to say one way or another. A couple of those probes could go down right here. Nice micro by Puzzle. He pulls that weakened Stalker to the back, but it goes down by a probe. I think that probe made its life well worth it.
Yes, it did, as a matter of fact. But Puzzle is now just on the back of these Zealots, starting to force all of the units back. One Zealot does go down, but now probes are starting to fall, and that economic lead that Mana was carrying is now completely lessened.
Yeah.
And these Zealots are finally, eventually going to fall, but it looks like Puzzle is starting to pull that critical advantage.
Yeah, Puzzle is definitely pulling that critical advantage right now. It looks like he killed off a good 5 probes right there. Now Mana's down to 14 under 19. He's got to fight this off, and he's got to hold some type of security over his own base, but he cannot do it. Puzzle continues to warp in. Mana never even able to make use of that Twilight Council that he did warp in. I wonder where it is. Did he just cancel it? No,
yes,
it's up top.
He canceled it.
Oh, okay.
Gate. Yep.
All right, he never even was able to make use of the Twilight Council.
And looks like now Puzzle's warpins are starting to vastly outpace Mana's. We have a Stalker and Zealot advantage for Puzzle right now as he starts to pick off gates one by one.
Sentry.
Yeah, that didn't actually end up doing much at all, and it's just going to die. One force field did not really do anything there for Mana.
It looks like Puzzle is going to take out Mana Cats. This is one of the highest level PvPs that I've seen in quite some time, revolving around the very popular tug of war of gateway action. It never lasts this long. This was a very, very long drawn out battle.
Yeah, it was, and there was opportunities I think for both players to do the damage. I think if Mana, he got one bad force field where all he did was trap the Puzzle's units outside. Then he got one good force field.
But he didn't take advantage of it.
Not really. He was taking so long to kill those Zealots. Yeah. I think if he had gotten both of those force field rounds, had been able to pick off some units, I think it would have been a lot different story, and I think Mana, with the economic advantage, could have actually won that game.
I totally agree with you, man. Well, that was a very, very high-level PvP, just shown by the amount of time it took for that gateway battle to finally end. Hope you guys enjoyed that one, and we're about to go to the next game.
是上将。